Welcome to Atlanta. Christ, this Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's flag. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Community Junior Honor.
Our great and holy King has honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahushua, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread.
I'm about to live a lifestyle. Piped up till I pipe down. These niggas sell a pipe dream. Baby girl, sweet as ice cream. And I need you better believe it. See that look at my cheeks. Boy, you champagne me. Going to the street. I'm about to tell you something. They gonna start the press. People are starving my best. Yeah, play, I'm not depressed. I have them holding checks. Like, yeah, I'm a heart attack. Told them I'm hard to death. I know what I'm seeing, but they don't believe it. Nigga, I'm so much shit. They're gonna be really defeated. You better believe it. Fuck me, nigga. I get it. I'm the line up like a Bible. Prepare for the fallout. One way side, what you talking about? Me and my nigga about to ball out. Me and my nigga about to bow out. Tell them where to go to the fallout. I'm on the job, can't call out. I'm in the wheel with it all out. Don't give a damn about the check, regular little nigga. You about to lose today. Nigga got moves to make. You can get moved, you can get moved away. Choose your fate. Most of these fools, they fake. Ain't got a hard to break. Nigga ain't hard to break. You get dog today. Like the brother Sean took the hard way. Nigga wait out of your league. Really? But the goal live got all eyes on me. Give a damn what they talking about. Got a soul ride with me. You know I'm lethal. That's my reason. I'm gonna get it. Yeah. See, they ain't gonna believe it. See, when they know that. So the world can't go there. Ain't no power, I don't know that. Bitch, I'd rather take a toe there. Put it up, you know I'm good to go. Get the ball, you know I'm good to go. They won't smoke, I'm a bitch nigga in my bedroom doing the Glizzy roll. Big dog, niggas, I'm trying. This is my time. Where the loud, where the loud. They always know the left. Nigga, my phone is fine. I know it's gone. I know it's gone. They focus. Nigga, true forever. I'll be soldier. You see my low. The feelings, I'm in control of their spirits. They're going to be holding me high. Taking me blue faces like a dog to rip, and I was so hard to fit. Not when you got a dog to sell. You know how to keep it, they try to forgive me, I'm squeezing, you better believe.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Barakathon, Yahweh Shemalathon Bashim Yahushua. This is the ICPK started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. And we teach the truth concerning the Bible, that so-called Black, Hispanic, and North American Indians are the chosen people of God, and our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Now, you tuned in, Precinct Officer Howell Moore, ICPK, Kentucky, Maine. And tonight, before we get into it, I want to invite every so-called Black, Hispanic, or North American Indian to tune in to our content, ICPK Kentucky, under Commander General Yohana. Of course, Monday night, you got the history class. Every Monday, Lord willing, 9 p.m. Tuesday night, the Brotherhood class, taught by Officer of 1,000. I'm a Wonga boy. And Wednesday night, you got the podcast, the baddest podcast in town, the baddest podcast in Kentucky, Maine. Cry Out, Spur Not podcast. And come in here, these two powerful priests of the Lord under Commander General Yohana give the biblical breakdown, the biblical solution to all of the viral videos going across the internet. So Monday history class, Tuesday Brotherhood, Wednesday night the podcast. Now, of course, Monday night history class under Commander General Yohana, 9 p.m. And the topic of tonight's class. The topic of tonight's class, what we finna get into tonight. We finna talk about where do Black people come from and the bankruptcy of 23andMe. All right, where do Black people come from and the bankruptcy of 23andMe? Now it's been a talk for last couple of days now. 23andMe, one of the biggest DNA testing companies, one of the biggest ancestry companies, is going bankrupt. And we finna find out why tonight. We finna find out why 23andMe is going bankrupt and what our enemy intends to do. What our enemy intends to do with the genetic material that Blacks and Hispanics have been sending this company for years. We've been sending these companies our genetic material and getting sold some Wakanda package and getting sold some back to Africa package. All right. And in return, our enemy is looking to purchase our genetic material. And we're going to find out what's the reason for that. All right. So where do Black people come from in the bankruptcy of 23andMe? Now, tonight, I'm not finna get into the transatlantic slave trade. All right. We've been hearing about the transatlantic slave trade forever. All right. We've been hearing about Pan-Africanism for 90 years. All right. And it's obvious that Pan-Africanism has failed. If Pan-Africanism was alive and well, all right, 23andMe wouldn't be going bankrupt right now. All right, so we're not going to talk about the transatlantic slave trade tonight. We're going to talk about Black people in Europe, and we're going to talk about indigenous Black people in the Americas. All right, so topic of tonight's class, where do Black people come from and the bankruptcy of 23andMe. ICPK Kentucky, Monday night history class under Commander General Yohana. And of course, we finna bring it like you can't get it anywhere else besides the UPK under Commander General Yohana. All right, Josephus wrote that 1 million people were killed during the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD. We're talking about when the Romans invaded Jerusalem. All right, 70 AD, Josephus wrote that 1 million people were killed during the siege of Jerusalem. And 97,000 Jews were sold into slavery in the Roman Empire. All right, 97,000 Jews were sold into slavery in Rome, in Europe. All right, and I hate to say the term Black Jew because Black Jew is just as redundant as Black Seminole. All right. So saying Black Jew is just as redundant as saying Black Seminole. All right, so I'm just going to say Jew, and I'm finna prove who it is I'm talking about. All right, 97,000 Jews were sold into slavery in the Roman Empire. All right, source, the image of the black in Jewish culture. It says a strong European tradition dating back to the Middle Ages maintained that the Jews were black. All right, so historically speaking, the Jews are black. All right, historically speaking, the Jews are black. Now let's drop this and let's get it in the Bible. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2. It said, Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. All right. Judah mourneth. Now, Judah is one of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, the chosen people of God, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians. And Jew is short for Judah. All right. The particular tribe of Judah said, Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. All right. Judah's in mourning because the tribe of Judah has terrible leadership. All right. The gates are supposed to be for protection, but the tribe of Judah has terrible leadership under people like Bishop Nathaniel, under people like Bishop T.D. Jakes, under people like under Pan-Africans like Dr. Ben, under people like Louis Farrakhan. All right, the tribe of Judah has terrible gates, terrible leadership. All right, they are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. So we proved it historically that the Jews are black. We proved it biblically that the Jews are black. And we just read that after the siege of Jerusalem, almost 100,000 Jews were carried into captivity into Rome. Let's walk. All right, as Niger and Rufus were names of families amongst the Romans from the color and complexion of men. So it seems Duff was the swarthy and black color of those of the tribe or clan of Macduff. So it's talking about black people in Europe. All right, descendants of the Jews that were taken into captivity in Rome, in Europe, after the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD. All right, so let's fast forward a little bit. All right, Benjamin Franklin observations concerning the increasing of mankind, people, and countries. Now, Benjamin Franklin was against immigration. All right, Ben Franklin was anti-immigration, but we're going to see that Ben Franklin was anti-immigration when it came to black and brown people, just like Donald Trump is anti-immigration when it comes to black and brown people as well. All right, and since detachments of English from Britain to America will have their places at home soon supplied and increased so largely here, why should the Palatine Boers, talking about Germans, be suffered to swarm our settlements and by herding together establish their language and manners to the exclusion of ours? Look at the language it uses, herding. All right, referring to these people as animals, as beasts, no different than Donald Trump calling Hispanics rapists. All right, let's walk. He says, why should Pennsylvania, founded by the English, become a colony of aliens who will shortly be so numerous as to Germanize us instead of our Anglifying them, and will never adopt our customs, language, any more than they can acquire our complexion? Now listen to what he's saying. He said these Germans will never adopt our language or customs any more than they can acquire our complexion. All right, Ben Franklin is anti-black immigration from Germany. Now we just read that 100,000 Jews went into captivity in the Roman Empire in Europe. We prove historically that the Jews were black. We prove biblically that the Jews are black. And now we have Ben Franklin, 1751, anti-black immigration from Germany. And it's in black and white. Salakia. It's in black and white. It says, they will never adopt our language or customs any more than they can acquire our complexion. Now let's talk about some of these Germans. We're going to go all the way back to Charlemagne. All right, the founder of the Holy Roman Empire. There's a statue on the right. As you can see, we have some whitewashing, top left-hand corner. All right, Charlemagne was a member of the Carolingian dynasty, king of the Franks, and was crowned Holy Roman Emperor by Pope Leo. And we got Pope Leo. All right, so he was put on by Pope Leo. We got some more Germans and Roman emperors. We got Edith and Otto I. As you can clearly see, black Europeans. Holy Roman Emperor Henry I. These were the people. These were the types of Germans. These were the types of Germans that Ben Franklin was against immigrating to the United States. These were the people that Ben Franklin said will never adopt our customs any more than they can adopt our complexion. All right, St. Otto. All right, if you look, he's got the neck beard. You know, it's common amongst black Europeans that came out of Germany. All right, the beard doesn't grow up on the cheeks. It's just that neck beard. You'll see it in the statues here coming up. All right, St. Otto was a medieval German bishop and missionary. As papal legate, converted much of Pomerania to Christianity. He entered the service of Emperor Henry IV in 1090 and was appointed Chancellor of the Holy Roman Empire, 1101. All right, more black Germans. See, this is a lot of the history. This is a lot of the history that our enemy would like to keep secret. And you're going to see some of the revision that revisionist historians try to pull when it comes to images of black people in Europe in general, but in Germany in particular. So we got more black Germans. All right, Holy Roman Empire Imperial Knights. We're gonna move kind of fast tonight, y'all. All right, look at the facial features. Look at the brow ridges. All right, more of the physical features, the phenotype of these black people that were coming out of Germany. All right, more black Germans. All right, Rupert of Germany, 1352. This was taken from a tapestry where his castle was being attacked by a group of white tea people. And this group of white tea people were naked, covered in leaves, and trying to attack his castle with sticks and rocks like cave people. All right, Knights of Wittelsbach, 1450. As you can see, we've always been at odds. We've always been at odds with our enemy. All right, the Bible says that Jacob and Esau have been fighting since the womb. All right, so our fight with our enemy, our fight with Esau goes way, way, way further back than just America. All right, we see here 1450 in Germany, again at odds with our enemy. The Bible says Jacob and Esau had been fighting since the womb. All right, we're locked in a mortal combat with these people. All right, the Bible says that they have a perpetual hatred for the Lord's chosen people, a perpetual hatred for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians. All right, Leopold I, Holy Roman Emperor. All right, Leopold bore this heavy weight of genealogical responsibility, was swarthy. All right, the word swarthy means black, of middling height, with the projected lower jaw and protruding lower lip, traditionally marked the Habsburgs. So we're going to read about this family more when we get into more kings and emperors dealing with Rome. All right, Leopold I, Holy Roman Emperor, King of Hungary, Croatia, and Bohemia. He was the second son of Ferdinand III by his first wife, Maria Anna of Spain. Leopold became heir apparent 1654 after the death of his elder brother, Ferdinand IV. All right, Maximilian I, another Roman emperor. As you can see, he just got that neck beard again. The beard doesn't quite grow up on the cheeks. Again, common amongst black people coming out of Germany. All right, he was king of the Romans 1486 and Holy Roman Emperor 1508 until his death in 1519. He was the only surviving son of Frederick III. So like I said, we're going to be rolling through this kind of quick tonight. All right, John the Steadfast. All right, the Margrave of Brandenburg, John the Steadfast. I might go to the Passover like this one year. Matter of fact, Lord willing, Passover 2026, I might step into the Passover like this. All right. John, the Margrave of Brandenburg, all right, was born January 9th, 1493 in Germany. All right, he was the son of Frederick the Elder and Sophia of Poland, daughter of Casimir IV, king of Poland. And all of this area was under the Holy Roman Empire at this time. All right, Charles V, there goes that beard again. All right, he was the Holy Roman Emperor and Archduke of Austria, 1519 to 1556, King of Spain, 1516 to 1556. He was the head of the House of Habsburg that we just read about. During the first half of the 16th century, his dominions in Europe included the Holy Roman Empire extending from Germany to Italy. In the Americas, he ruled the continuation of a long-lasting Spanish colonization in the Americas. A black man was King of Spain and Holy Roman Emperor at the same time of the Spanish colonization in the Americas. At the same time, the Aztecs were being conquered. The same time, the Inca were being conquered. A black man sat on the throne in Spain. All right, Charles V was a swarthy man. Here's your source. Again, we finna bring it as we always bring it, and how you can't get it nowhere else besides the ICPK under Commander General Yohana. Let's walk. All right, which leads me to add one remark. Let's go back to Benjamin Franklin and his beliefs about black immigration to the United States. All right, the number of white people in the world is proportionally very small. All of Africa is black and tawny, Asia chiefly tawny, America, exclusive of the newcomers, wholly so. Wholly so. And in Europe, the Spaniards, the French, the Russians, and the Swedes are generally of what we call a swarthy complexion, as are the Germans also. All right, again, swarthy means black. We're going to prove it in a minute. All right, the Saxons only accepted who with the English make the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. So in the 1700s, the Saxons and the English, according to Ben Franklin, make up the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. That's it. All right. We're not going to start to see this change of Europe becoming white until the 1800s. You're not going to see swarms of white people moving to the Americas until after the Homestead Act of the 1860s. All right. But the French, let's talk about these French real quick. All right. Named for King Louis XVI of France in appreciation for his assistance during the Revolutionary War, Louisville, Kentucky was founded in 1778. Louisville, Kentucky was named after King Louis XVI. Here was his wife, Marie Antoinette. All right, source. Marie was not considered beautiful by the standards of the day, which required a pale complexion, blonde hair, and blue eyes. Marie was blessed with an abundance of curls and a swarthy complexion and brown eyes. And of course, she was married to Louis XVI. All right, so talking about Louis XIV, it said he had a swarthy complexion and a prominent nose. Louis XV was the handsomest youth in France. He had a swarthy complexion. So if Louis XIV was black, Louis XV was black, then if you just do the math, then Louis XVI was black also. All right, and I bet you never heard any of this in history class. All right, now more black people in France called the Huguenots. All right, you had a group of, when the Sephardics were being kicked out of the Iberian Peninsula, they left and went to different countries and went under different identities. All right, Huguenots or French Protestants was one of them. All right, were a series of rebellions, 1620s, in which the French Protestants or Huguenots revolted against royal authority. All right, here's an example of your French Huguenots. All right, the 15,000 or more French Huguenots who came to America in 1685 were largely composed of the bourgeois or the bougie, which many merchants and lawyers. Now, who else talks like this? All right, nobody else says bougie but us. Nobody else says bougie but us. But it said 15,000 French Huguenots, or 15,000 black people from France came to America in 1685. They were urban people, settled in cities, and achieved importance in colonial life as they were skilled in exercise and leadership. Now, again, I said I'm not going to talk about the transatlantic slave trade tonight because we've been hearing about that forever. But who heard that 15,000 black people from France came to America in 1685? Again, tonight we're talking about where black people come from. All right, and I'm talking about black Europeans and black indigenous people. All right, let's walk. All right, it may not be generally known that some of the best families in South Carolina are Moors by descent. Moor just means black. The crisp curling black hair, the swarthy complexion, come up generation after generation. Again, swarthy means black. We finna prove it. Many of our old Huguenot families down to the present show strong traces of their Moorish descent. And again, Moor is just another word for black. All right, Huguenot Street exhibit. All right, 1800s, New Paltz Black Builder. You got a descendant of a French Huguenot right here. And again, the word swarthy just means black. All right, swarthy comes from the German that just means black. All right, black or dark colored, especially of skin, 1580s. All right, now, what revisionist historians try to do, and what our enemy tries to do, is they try to take all of these black paintings and these black statues, Europe in general, but Germany in particular, since we're talking about Germany tonight, and they try to take all of these black statues and say they're all Saint Maurice. All of these black statues, they're going to try to say is Saint Maurice. But as you can see, these four people are clearly all four different people. They're clearly all four different people. So could all of these people be Saint Maurice? All of these black statues you see across Germany, could all of them be Saint Maurice? Let's walk. To summarize, there is little doubt but that the story of the martyrdom of Saint Maurice and the Theban Legion, which Eucharius' letter has preserved, is a complete fiction. All right, is a complete fiction. The story of the martyrdom of Saint Maurice is a complete fiction. So according to the UCC library, Saint Maurice never existed. According to the UCC library, Saint Maurice never existed. That means all of these statues of black people in Germany, these people have an identity. Here's an example of one. One statue of somebody that was placed under the title of Saint Maurice is actually Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II. All right, son of Frederick I of Barbarossa. All right. All of these people that were titled Saint Maurice, now that we've seen that Saint Maurice was a fiction, all of these black people have an identity now. Like this one, who was Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II. All right, more Germans in the 1600s. Prince-elect of Denmark. All right, William V of Orange. All right, William had a medium height and a brown complexion. All right, all of these were black people that we're talking about. Now, once you get to the fall of the Holy Roman Empire, during the time of the Napoleonic Wars, you start to see Rome crumble and break down into the different German states. And that's when you start to see more immigration of black people out of Germany. And again, the very same black people that Benjamin Franklin was against. All right, here's an image of a black German woman in New Amsterdam, which became New York. Now, here's the thing. It says the crucial difference with the Dutch colony in Manhattan is that slavery was banned in the Dutch Republic. All right, so Germans didn't bring slavery with them to the United States. All right, they brought indentured servitude. It says right here, over time, all so-called black survivors. Again, we're talking about black survivors in the French Revolution, black survivors from the Jacobite Wars, black survivors from the Napoleonic Wars in Germany. All right, all of these people ended up coming to the United States, and they had indentured servants, but we just read that in these Dutch colonies, in these German colonies, in the New World, they didn't have slavery. So my question is this. All right, if these Germans that were coming to the United States didn't have slavery, and we proved that a lot of these Germans were black, we proved that Benjamin Franklin said he was against black immigration from Germany. If you're walking around today calling yourself an African American and you have a German surname, did you even know that you had a German surname? How could you be walking around in 2025 with a German last name and calling yourself an African American? Again, topic of tonight's class is, where do black people come from? And again, I'm not talking about the transatlantic slave trade tonight. We've been hearing about that for as long as I can remember. All right, but what's not commonly taught is how many black people came here from Europe, and how many black people in America are descendants of black indigenous people. But anybody out there, anybody listening, if you're walking around calling yourself African American and you have a German surname, we just read that the Germans that came to America didn't bring slavery into the United States, didn't bring slavery into the colonies. We know that Benjamin Franklin was against black immigration from Germany. We read about all of the black Europeans that were coming to the Americas. And again, if you're walking around here with a German surname, and Germans didn't bring slavery to the colonies, how can you be an African American? If the Germans, I'll say it in a different way. If the Germans didn't bring slavery to the colonies, how could you have gotten a German last name from a slave owner? Is it clear now? Again, topic of tonight's class is, where do black people come from? And the bankruptcy of 23andMe. All right, let's walk. Another black person with a German background is Sojourner Truth. All right, Sojourner Truth spoke Dutch as her first language, and she continued to speak with a Dutch accent for the rest of her life. All right, one of the most famous black people in America from a German background was Sojourner Truth. All right, you can look it up. Her poem never had a name to it. A white woman, I forget her name, got a hold of her poem like 25 years later, gave it a name, and wrote it to make it seem like this woman had a southern slave accent. But Sojourner Truth was Dutch and spoke in a Dutch accent for the rest of her life. Now let's flip it. We talked about black Europeans and how black Europeans came to the Americas. Tonight, mainly from France and Germany. You can check out previous classes I've done Monday night history class, ICPK, Kentucky, where I talked about black people from the UK, all right, black Irish, black Scottish, how they came to the Americas after the Jacobite Wars. All right, so now let's flip it and let's talk about black indigenous people. Now we're going to start in Mexico. And the reason that's important is because for years, Pan-Africans have tried to make the Olmec, the indigenous people of Mexico, African. All right, there was a book by a Pan-African named Ivan Van Sertima. The book was called They Came Before Columbus and talked about African voyages into Mexico. Well, the problem with that is that the Olmec are still here. The descendants of the people that built the colossal heads in places like Veracruz and La Venta, all right, their descendants are still here today. And not just Mexico, but it says the Aztec Muskogee tribe of the Mexican Empire, vanquished by Cortez, became 100 years later the Creek Confederacy, from which branded the Seminole. All right, the Choctaw and Chickasaw were once of one tribe before their migration from some distant country to the west to the ancient domain east of the Mississippi River claims for them a Mexican origin. All right, Adair in his American Indian says the Choctaw and Chickasaw descend from a people called the Chicamaca, who were among the first inhabitants of the Mexican Empire. So not only do the descendants of the Aztec and Olmec and Maya still live in those areas, but the people that became the Indians of the South, all right, your Choctaw, your Chickasaw, your Creek, your Seminole, all come out of Mexico too. All right, all of these are the same people with the same origin. So here's your Seminole. And again, I hate the term Black Seminole. I hate the term Black Seminole as much as I hate the word Black Jew. All right, saying Black Jew is redundant. Saying Black Seminole is redundant. But again, your Indians of the South, all right, your Indians of Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, all originally come out of Mexico. So here's your Seminole. All right, this is out of Mississippi, where your Choctaw, Chickasaw, and Natchez come from. All right, this is out of Florida. All right, Seminole Chief John Horse. Now, John Horse, he's famous because he led a group of Seminole and Creek out of Oklahoma, 1849, into Mexico, because they feared being enslaved from the Fugitive Slave Act. All right, 1849, he led a group of Seminoles and Creeks into Mexico. All right, after 1865, a lot of them left, came back into Texas, became prominent people, joined the Buffalo Soldiers, etc. And they still celebrate Juneteenth in certain places in Mexico today. All because of Seminole Chief John Horse led a group of Seminoles and Creeks into Mexico, 1849. All right, Miccosukee Indians. Now, another thing is that Seminole is a modern term. All right, Seminole was never one group of people. All right, smaller groups that were fighting against U.S. expansion all formed together and became Seminole. All right, the Miccosukee was one of them. All right, the Miccosukee, the Creek, the Stono, the Uchi. All right, all of these people, smaller groups of Indians that were fighting against U.S. expansion, fighting against Andrew Jackson, all right, banded together and formed what became the Seminole Indians. All right, here's Chief Boles. Right, I want you to take a look at a lot of the images I got up tonight. All right, I want you to take a good look at these images I'm bringing up tonight and ask yourself, The big question I asked earlier, if you're a so-called African American with a German last name, and we just proved that the Germans never brought slavery to the colonies, we proved that a lot of these Germans were black. Benjamin Franklin was anti-black immigration from Germany. That means that you never got that German last name from a slave owner. And I want you to think about how your genealogy could be a whole lot different than what you thought it might have been. And we're going to get into that with the 23andMe. But I want you to take a look at some of these images now. And I want you to think back if you ever heard that you had American Indian in your genealogy. All right, if you ever heard that you had American Indian in your genealogy. All right, Italian explorer Giovanni de Verrazzano, the complexion of the Indian is black. Not much different from that of the Ethiopians. So just like the Jews in the Bible are black, just like the Jews historically are black, the particular Indians that Verrazzano met, he said they were black. So again, take a look at a lot of these images and think back if you ever heard or if anybody told you that you had American Indian in your family. Look at the feather headdress. He's got the feathers right in the fro. Again, topic of tonight's class is, where do black people come from? And the bankruptcy at 23andMe. Tell me this don't look like somebody's grandpa. Tell me this don't look like somebody's grandpa. Tell me this don't look like somebody's uncle. He's got the feather in the hat. He's got the fringes. He's got the studs in the fringes. First, you got the Indian choker. All right, again, has anybody in your family ever told you you had American Indian in your family? All right, judging by the shirt, he's probably Creek. Got the Indian braids on damn near everybody. And like I said, we're going to walk through this kind of fast tonight. All right, the fringes on the shirt. All right, these are Indians on Carnival down in Louisiana. Look at the Indian braids. She looks like somebody's auntie. All right, these are Pamunkey Indians. All right, source, Carlos Cuervo Marquez, America was a Negro continent. I didn't write this. You can check the source. All right, America was a Negro continent. All right, look at the woman here with the feathered headdress. Here comes the Europeans, Christian cross, ships in the background. And you see Indians of all different complexions. Darker skin, lighter skin, medium brown. All right, this was from when you start to see the invasion of Cortez in Mexico, and here's your Aztecs. And look at the buildings in the background. All right, in our Board of Education upbringing, we always heard that the indigenous people, we always heard that our people were savages. We always heard that our people were savages. But look at the architecture in the background. And in the picture here, look at the architecture back here. And these are Europeans drawing these pictures. These are Europeans drawing these pictures. Well, look at the two Indians here. Again, these are Europeans drawing these pictures. These are Europeans making these maps. And this is one of my favorites. This one's been a favorite of mine for probably 20 years. All right, I've had this picture for about 20 years now. And again, you see the different complexions of the Indians. All right, lighter skin here with the Indian braids on the side, darker skin. And you've got these two white slaves carrying this Indian. You got two white slaves carrying this Indian. All right, and this is going to be the white man's future. All right, this is going to be YT people's future. All right, the Bible says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. All right, those are the Bible's words. So this was his past. Before we were conquered, this is going to be his future. All right, now, again, I asked this question earlier. Have you ever heard that you had American Indian in your family? See, I do grandma scholarship. I do grandma scholarship. All right, I believe grandma when she said it. I believe grandma when she said it, but a lot of us now, you know, we get in the world, we get college degrees, we get a little bread, and now we don't look up to grandma no more. Now we don't look up to Big Mama no more. Maybe she didn't have a high school education. Maybe she couldn't read. And now we think we know better than Big Mama. Now we think we know better than Grandma. We done took a few Pan-African classes at the university. We done read the works of John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, Sheikh Anta Diop, right? And now we're better than Big Mama. Now we're better than Grandma. But see, I'm here tonight to defend Grandma. All right, I'm here tonight to defend Grandma. I do grandma scholarship. All right, so if you got an issue with grandma scholarship, take it up with me. All right, I do grandma scholarship. I'm here to defend Big Mama. Why? All right, Bureau of American Ethnology to the Secretary of the Smithsonian. A considerable proportion of the blood of the Southern Negro is unquestionably Indian. All right, Bureau of American Ethnology to the Secretary of the Smithsonian. A considerable portion of the blood of the Southern Negro is unquestionably Indian. So if you got a problem with grandma scholarship, you can take it up with me. All right, Andrew Jackson's Indian Removal Act. All right, this is what removed all these Indians out the South, called the Trail of Tears, and relocated to places like Kansas and Oklahoma. But something else the Indian Removal Act did was reclassified American Indians. All right, Indians that never left, that never went to Oklahoma, never went to Kansas, that decided to stay, were reclassified as Negro. This is why a large portion of the blood of the Southern Negro was unquestionably Indian, according to the Smithsonian. All right, 23andMe. 23andMe. All right, one of the biggest genealogical testing companies out there. All right, FDA halts 23andMe sales. Scientists caution personal genetic screenings are entertainment genetics. Scientists caution personal genetic screenings are entertainment genetics. Consumers should approach personal genetic tests with healthy skepticism. All right, consumers should approach personal genetic tests with healthy skepticism, sense of fun. All of these genetics companies that's taking the cotton swab, taking your genetics, taking your DNA, and telling you come from Angola, Cameroon, Nigeria, selling you the Wakanda package. It's all entertainment genetics. It's all entertainment. It's just for fun. It's not real. All right, Blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians, we have nothing at all to do with Hamites. Nothing at all to do with Africans. All right, nothing at all to do with Africans. All right, Ancestry.com sued for misleading customers about DNA data. DNA testing firm 23andMe files for bankruptcy as demand dries up. Well, the demand is drying up because this Pan-African shit is dead. All right, misleading customers about DNA data. 23andMe files for bankruptcy as demand dries up. Again, the demand is drying up because Pan-Africanism is dead. Nobody from Wakanda is coming for us. Nobody from Wakanda is coming for us. All right, the bankruptcy of 23andMe is raising concerns about the future of its DNA information. Once a pioneer in the genetic tested industry, the company faced backlash after hackers leaked user data in 2023. Now, millions could see their genetic data dealt in a potential sale. This is going to be important. All right, 23andMe just filed for bankruptcy. You should delete your data now. 23andMe states that if it's involved in a bankruptcy or sale, customers' personal data may be sold. All right, 23andMe plans to sell our DNA samples. They plan to sell our DNA samples. All of us that were goofy enough to look for some stinking African ancestor, thinking we were the goddamn Prince of Zamunda, these people are selling our DNA material, our DNA data. And who is it going to? Cops, AI, drug companies. Who wants to buy your DNA from 23andMe? Law enforcement wants to buy our DNA from 23andMe. 23andMe's bankruptcy is an untested and unaccounted frontier for handling our most sensitive biological data. Cops, AI, and drug companies. These are the people looking to buy our DNA. And we've been goofy enough because of Pan-Africanism to look for some Wakanda ancestor. Because your great grandfather was King Jaffe Joe, ruler of fucking Zamunda. And now law enforcement wants to buy your DNA from 23andMe. All right. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born 96 years before the flood and one of 8 persons to live through the flood, became the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. All right. Ham is the progenitor of Africans, the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites, but not the Negroes. All right, it says right here, Choctaw Advocate, July 24th, 1902, page 2. The Negro is not an African. African is a misnomer. Why try to send him to a country which is not his own? We knew this in 1902. But somehow we've been scammed by people like Dr. Ben, by John Henry Clark, like Sheikh Anta Diop, and bullshit TV movies like Roots. All right, I'm sorry, but Kunta Kinte was a fictional person. All right, Choctaw Advocate, July 24th, 1902, the Negro was not an African. But let's drop that. Let's go to the Bible. Before we end the class, Galatians 4:26, but Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all. All right, Jerusalem is the mother of us all. Not Ghana, not Egypt, not Kenya, not Nigeria, but Jerusalem is the mother of us all. So let's go ahead and drop that. All right, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Another history class. ICBK Kentucky under Commander General Yohana. Again, every Tuesday night, 7 to 9 p.m., Brotherhood class taught by Officer of 1,000. I'm a Wonga boy. And Wednesday night, the podcast. All right, Cry Out, Spirit Not podcast, hosted by Officers of 1,000. I'm a Wonga boy. And Asiapian. And with that, we'll go ahead and end it. All right, shalom. Yahweh Bashemi Hawashah Barakathon. Yahweh Shemalathon Bashemi Hawashah. Class dismissed.
I don't give a love a fuck about what them bitches gotta say. I'm a woman West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't give a love a fuck about what them niggas gotta say. I'm a woman West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't care about what they say. Hey. Fuck with my Akima, fuck with my sisters, then I got a problem, I'm never gonna miss you. I got 100 hanging out the AR, I got a 50 hanging out the pistol. He say it's corner, I'm just being realistic. I be on them corner posted with the realest. If it's the Sabbath, then we going fishing. I'm reeling them in, that's a God-given mission. I'm really on 10, but I'm stamped in the picture. I get the order, be glad of this mission. Hebrew Academy graduate, nigga. Training, go through the baddest conditions. I don't fuck with none but the baddest of bitches. She righteous, submissive, she glad to be with me. Had that thing Putin like Batman, niggas. She know I'm a prophet, she glad to be listening. Disrespect, I ain't having that shit. Tell her go make some business from scratch. She bitchin' a different breed of black men. We don't do the back bend. I remember back when I was really trapping, trying to get them racks in, selling dope to black men. But now I'm trying to make it straight. Like, don't forget about my face. We standing up straight, can't fold us. Too heavy, the world won't hold us. Go get you some rank, I told you. Line up in these ranks, we soldier. You can take that to the bank, we focus. How many times must we remind you? One body, one way, some break off and never take off as a flex. When the law with you ain't no up next, it's just us, nigga, that's that on that. All that weak shit, that ain't no threat. Say you won't beat, bitch, with that ain't no sweat. We with all that. The Lord called a nigga out the world, I responded and called back. Oh Lord, and everything that they stole from us, fuck that shit, we want all that. Them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come under command and General Yohana, we unaffiliated with them. Like they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. That's why we unaffiliated with them. I cannot fuck around with fake niggas. We taking ground when we in your city. You better hide the women, hide the liquor. Keep that bitch on me, please don't but the same. Don't be a fool and be another victim. Say you a goon, you just another Christian. How you my brother, you ain't in here with me. We in the gutter, deep down in the trenches. We with them niggas locked up in the prison. Black and Hispanic, Native American, Indian. We ain't just talking shit, but we living in it. We be everywhere, you can't miss it. And we be fresh as hell, take a picture. And we special now with the scriptures. Play, we gon' script from yeah, we some killers. These niggas tripping, they mind blown. Swear business, forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't get it pause when niggas say that they be looking for niggas to slide on. The only slide that I know about is when I assemble the Glock with the slide on. Real, I get the order, you know that it's slaughter. See me and my niggas gon' die. The bigger the better for kingdom of heaven. You niggas get wet up by me cause I'm fed up. I rep UPK. My niggas won't let up. Got choppers, got nines, AKs, Berettas. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with me and my nigga like bitch or whatever. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with me and my nigga like. Them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come under command and General Yohana, we unaffiliated with them. Like they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100. We unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. See, they always ask us like, why y'all fuck with such and such? Why y'all won't come together with such and such? I be like, we unaffiliated with them. Understand me? Like, niggas be out here on some weirdo shit. And to be honest, that's why we unaffiliated with them. Hey, 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 that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah.